So, raise your hands. Raise your hands if you agree that we seem to have lost our way lately. This is to absurdity and beyond, and this is for you. This is going to be a quiet rant about the absurd. Raise your hands. Do you agree? We can't even agree on what facts are lately. That common courtesy, common ground, and common sense have all gotten lost. We are looking for a new world where we can trust one another. And when you have a peacock trying to sit next to you, common courtesy and common sense are dead, and absurdity reigns supreme. There is no hope. Rules are important. So it tells us which side of the road to be on. And there's an old saying, to err is human, to really screw up takes a computer following rules. But there should be an extra one, which is to be truly absurd, you need the government and laws and politicians. I don't think we need a law to protect me from putting an ice cream cone in my back pocket. Do you? Do you need a soap not to have your flag on it? I think you're going to be safe. I don't think we need these as our laws or our government or politicians. I think you all can get dressed in front of a male portrait and still be safe. It's not safe then. I think all of us are smart enough to know that we don't need to bicycle in a swimming pool either. But that's just my theory. Rules have consequences. They hold things down. Businesses not funded, products not made, businesses held hostage, including mine. We had banks willing to make us a $10 million loan. $10 million to start our business. We had a $65 million asset. But because it couldn't be liquidated in 45 days, we didn't get that loan. Despite that it was 6-to-1 coverage for the bank's dream deal. No risk to the bank, no risk to the taxpayer. But still, no loan. Now, one would think that doesn't make a lot of sense, because the rules are supposed to be there to protect us, but the bank was more than protected, so that wasn't an issue. So blind belief that the rules always make sense, that government always makes smart decisions, that rules are always good, that's not so. Not so at all.
So how do we change that? Well, how many people are in favor of St. Pete's laws banning straws from unwanted straws? Well, okay, so what's absurd about that? Well, what if you knew that St. Pete also made policy decisions to put 1 billion gallons of waste spilled and 200 million gallons into the bay so that the water becomes toxic sludge and you can't even swim or go wading into the water? That's absurd, right? You need to think about big things like the quality of our beaches, which, we have a huge billion-dollar economy that requires beaches. So what is the definition of insanity? Well, okay, we can use any definition, but certainly doing the things over and over again the same way and getting the same predictable result when it's not making things better is insanity. Here, look at Tampa. The Tampa Bay region, the metro, is the lowest in median income of all of the cities of our size. 25th out of 25. And what do? We invest in failure. How do we invest in failure? We give $7 million to a Bass Pro Shops. A Bass Pro Shops that produces only retail jobs would have located here anyway and didn't need the subsidy. What does that do? That means we have other mom and pop businesses that go out of business. Bowling alleys, fishing tackle stores. So how do we overcome that? Well, what about if we spend $500 million moving a stadium from St. Pete to Tampa? $500 million of taxpayer money. That just seems like a really good way of burning through $500 million, not a really good way of fixing traffic congestion. Can you imagine getting across the bridge from St. Pete to Tampa in rush hour traffic at 6 p.m. when you have a baseball game in Ybor City? Do you know it's already backed up way before the bump? So some people vote in countries where it's dangerous for their health to vote, right? They could be shot, they could be killed. We don't vote because it is inconvenient. I'm asking you not to not vote anymore, especially if you're young people here. They don't predict that you'll vote. You need to get out and vote and think about voting for the guy that puts some other people before himself. Thank you very much.